Okay. According to the World Health Organization, processed meats are a Group 1 carcinogen, which means that it's proven to cause cancer. Also, the World Health Organization determined that red meats are a Group 2A carcinogen, which means it's likely, not proven, but likely to cause cancer. I've done some research on processed meats and pork and found that pork is one of the unhealthiest meats that for human consumption. We shouldn't eat it. According to the article on MarketWatch, 97% of Americans eat meat, 3% are vegetarian. So it's this topic is relevant to all of us. A manuscript from the U.S. National Library of Medicine says that 58% of all meat consumed is red meat, so that's Group 2A carcinogen, and 22% of all the meat consumed is processed, Group 1 carcinogen, proven to cause cancer. I'd like to share some of the research that I've done and some of this info, and hopefully it'll change your mind or how you look at pork and processed meats. I've already said that 97% of Americans eat meat, and 22% of that is processed. According to the U.S. Census, the U.S. population on 4th of July 2018, the population was 328 million people. With that number in mind, and the 22%, that means that 70 million people eating processed meats are at very high risk of getting cancer. That's 22%, 21% of Americans. That's almost 1 in 4, quarter of the population. Pork obviously is a large part of that consumed meat, and most pork consumed is processed. And it's especially dangerous because of it's very susceptible to carry diseases. Bacterias, pathogens, viruses, all kinds of things. According to Dr. Mercola, swine is plagued with infectious diseases such as PRRS, Nipah virus, Meningale virus, and more. According to an article from the Bulletin of History of Medicine, they tested meat extracts, not just pork, but pork was one of them, and they injected that extract into plants to see how the plant would grow. And they found that it inhibited the plant's growth by 54%. So it didn't grow 54% of that of its potential. This suggests that it also can inhibit our human growth and development by consuming pork meat. This is just not even considering the diseases and pathogens. This is just the chemical makeup, the toxins and buildup of the structure of the meat itself. It's true that you can probably kill 100% of all the viruses, pathogens, and bacteria if you cook meat at a high temperature. But that still doesn't solve the problem of the toxins and the physical makeup of the meat. It's still toxic to the body, even if you kill the viruses. So, what do we do about this? Obviously, the best thing is just to remove it completely from your diet. Remove the meat, the processed meats especially, and pork. But if you opt to eat pork, then it's good to follow a couple guidelines. One thing to do is stay away from processed pork if you're going to eat it. That's number one. Another thing is that Dr. Mercola suggests is to cook it at 145 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure you kill all the bacteria, viruses, and pathogens that could possibly be in the meat. Keep the raw meat and the juices as you cook it separate from your other foods that you're going to eat. So your vegetables, your fruits, whatever it is that you eat it with, keep the meat separate, and when you store it and when you cook with it. And lastly is try to buy antibiotic-free organic meat and pork. That'll hopefully reduce significantly the amount of toxins that could be in the meat. So with that said, I still strongly suggest that you don't eat pork at all. And I believe that most health conditions could be improved by doing that. If we were to stop eating meat completely as a nation, then we could see a reduction in cancer patients by, like I said, the 70 million people that are at high risk of getting it. If we stopped eating pork as well, I think there would be even more benefits, not just in reduction in cancer. So to sum it all up, processed meats, especially pork, is very dangerous for human consumption. And Thomas Edison once said that the doctor of the future will give no medication, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, diet, and in the cause and prevention of diseases. So diet will help prevent many of the diseases that we face. So I urge you to consider changing your diet and taking a step towards a healthier you. A good place to begin is Dr. Mercola's website. He's got a lot of information on health in general and things that you can do. Another step is to cut the meat out entirely and opt for possibly a vegetarian diet. But if not, definitely cut out the processed meats and try to buy antibiotic-free organic meats that are highest quality that you can purchase. And good luck. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.